welcome. You're watching the Economic Times Think Diplomacy series presented by BLS International. And today we are at a very special setting at the residence of Polish Ambassador to India. And I'm joined by my colleague Ashu. Morning, Ashu.
Good morning, Nidhi. What a time to be talking about for the two nations, because relations, economic, political, and more, are on a clear upswing. And there's so much for the two countries to talk about.
Well, a lot of sectors that are, in focus that, I kind of, come across and see, from agriculture to AI, defense, green energy. There's just, so much that we have to talk to the ambassador about.
Absolutely. So let's go across and speak to the ambassador and talk about whole wide range of areas that the two countries look to cooperate on.
Absolutely. Let's get going.
Sure. Hello and welcome. Poland and India are looking to script an economic and political cooperation that has taken off after completing 70 years of partnership and trying to elevate the relationship to a new level. I have the Polish ambassador joining me today to talk. Thank you so much, Ambassador Świtalski, for joining us. My first question. 70 years done, and then we are looking at a new high, a new way of working. What is the level, what is the trajectory for the relationship as it is coming up?
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for this conversation. Indeed, we are looking forward with new hopes and new expectations. I would like to mention that the visit of Prime Minister Modi in Poland in 2024 was a turning point in our relations. It helped Poles to rediscover India as a modern, global, very dynamic country. After many years where we lost each other from our respective radars. We had very friendly, very close partnership in the 60s, in the 70s. And this embassy, where we are having our conversation, is a testimony to how important India was for Poland at that time and how close we were politically, but also economically. But in the 90s and later, in Poland, we decided to concentrate on our relations with Europe, with Western Europe, with the United States, with the Western world. And we lost India from our radars. Still, a lot of stereotypes surrounding India were persistent in Poland. The visit of Prime Minister Modi helped Poles to understand that we are talking about new India, a global actor, rising technological power, modern power, full of opportunities. And this is something which created a new momentum for our relations, embodied in the concept of strategic partnership. So the task for us is now to help Indians, and this is my personal, professional task, to help Indians rediscover Poland and look at Poland from a new angle as a valuable partner. We are $1 trillion economy. Last year, we took the 20th position in terms of GDP ranking. We are now one of the 20th largest economy of the world. We overtook Switzerland. Last year, our GDP per capita with purchasing power adjustment became higher than that of Japan. And quite recently, according to International Monetary Fund, our GDP per capita with PP adjustment is higher than Spain. So Poland is a modern country, the fastest growing economy in Europe, with a lot of potential and a lot of interest in developing relations with India. Our Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Radosław Sikorski, 2 weeks ago in his program presentation of foreign policy of Poland said that India is a priority partner for Poland in Asia. And this is a very strong and very important statement on the part of our government.
That's fantastic to hear. So when the two countries decided to set up the Joint Commission for Economic Cooperation, what are the priority areas that Poland is looking, and how is it working together for India for that roadmap that you have?
Let's be frank, we cannot be satisfied with the current level of our economic exchanges, trade, investment, etc. The exports of Poland last year, 2025, amounted to 370 billion euros. And only 1 billion was, of this 170 billion was directed towards India. India has the same merchandise export level like Poland, around 370 billion euros. And only less than 4 billion went to Poland. So we cannot be satisfied with the level. We should do our utmost in order to boost our economic ties, because, you know, we can say very important things about the importance of political relations, but economy is the basis. So we have a good political momentum, and let's develop our economic relations to the level of the size of our economies. $4 trillion economy of India and 1 trillion economy of Poland. Now, we are expecting now a meeting of the Joint Commission. One of the most important factors would be a strong political signal, like the visit of Prime Minister Modi to Poland in 2024 was to Polish business, strong political signal that the governments want the business people, want the companies, etc., to forge new ties and to develop our exchanges. So we need such impetus, we need such positive stimulus, and I think there is a lot of political will to do that in the coming months.
So there are multiple sectors where the two countries are looking to cooperate. Defense is one of them. If you'd like to share some details on how the two countries are looking to work together in the defense sector.
India globally is a leading military power. It's not only the size of your military forces, armed forces, but also the quality of your armed forces. India is number 3 in terms of the military potential in the world. Poland now is spending almost 5% of its GDP on defense. The reason is obvious. It's the situation to the east of our country, the war happening still there, and the threats that are coming in our direction. So we want to spend a lot in order to help our defense potential to be to the level giving us the sense of security. Our defense industry is developing quite well. We have a number of products which were tested in combat conditions in Ukraine, a lot of them. I think that Poland has one of the best drone systems in the world, communication systems, anti-aircraft manpads, mine-laying equipment, you name it. And all of this was tested, as I said, in combat conditions. There is a lot of interest in our partners to buy Polish equipment. I can tell you now, for instance, concerning our famous manpads, there is a queue, a line, waiting line, which includes several of our NATO friends and allies. So we believe that we can offer something to India, our experience, our military philosophy, and also our equipment. We are also looking at India as an attractive partner and attractive supplier, because Poland is now pursuing probably the most ambitious program of rearmament in our modern history. We will be, in addition to the billions of euros that we spend within our budget, we will be now opening up a new chapter, additional money, the SAFE program. Overall envelope for Europe is 160 billion euros. Poland will get more than 40 billion euros out of that. And we have some very interesting offers from Indian companies, for instance, concerning the production of munition. India is a leading, I would say, country in terms of expertise and potential.
And manufacturing of defense equipment is rising in India.
Yes, yes. So I think that there are many opportunities. There is strong interest in Poland to develop such cooperation with India, which is not something which you should take for granted, because as you may heard, several of our friends and allies have some misgivings. These misgivings mainly relate to the question of the technology leak, because India has some forms of cooperation, military cooperation with other countries, not so much friendly towards Europe or NATO. And some countries have quite strong concerns. We consider India to be a very reliable partner. We belong to the camp of our European and NATO friends who consider India a very reliable partner in this respect. So we don't have such misgivings.
Fantastic. So a very similar, and there is a lot of, you can compare the two. The space sector, just like the defense, is another area of cooperation that could be an opportunity. What are you looking at working around that? Can you share some details?
Last year, a very symbolic act happened. The joint journey in space, joint space expedition of an Indian and Polish astronauts. They were both part of the same team, and they meet. Quite recently, they met in Davos, if I'm not mistaken, and both of them sent strong message to our industries and our space agencies. Let's cooperate. Let's build on this basis of a joint expedition something more durable, something more sustainable. I am happy to note that without waiting for signals from the governments, our companies already are doing that. Now, quite recently, an Indian company, SkyServe, developed an artificial intelligence program for a Polish satellite manufactured by a Polish company called SpaceRev. And the satellite went into space with fantastic results. We are very happy how the infrastructure provided by the Indian company was able to match with Polish technology, and it's working very fine. And it's a very good example. And I can tell you there are other Polish companies very interested in working with India, investing in India, I would say even billions of euros, with joint ventures, building here factories, and working together for the third markets. So I think that it's one of the beautiful avenues we should explore, making use of the potential of India as the IT hub of the world. You go to Bangalore, everybody is there. I mean, it's a global hub.
Yeah.
And the expertise of your scientists, your engineers, is unbelievable.
Since we are on defense and space, the security and the defense cooperation that we are doing, if you could add a few words on the defense and the security part of it, because that is an emerging world order where attention is needed, companies and countries need to come together.
Yes, I think the very positive developments we witness now, in particular concerning the agreements concluded by India and the European Union, and it's not only the free trade agreement everybody is talking about, but the security and defense partnership can open a new chapter also in our bilateral relations. We should approach it, as you suggested, in a broader context, our approach to global stability, security challenges. And I believe on our part there is quite a strong willingness to use this partnership with India to exchange our perceptions on security processes in political and strategic way, but also in very practical terms. For instance, the changing nature of the warfare. What we can see in Europe, in Ukraine, you can see also here in Asia, the warfare is changing, and our strategies and activities of our military structures, armed forces, should be adopted to the changing requirements. Secondly, you have the big political challenge of global governance. How we want the world to be governed. And I believe that India and the European Union can devote some energy and some intellectual and political effort to consider the ways we can develop the future world order in the way that we want it to be, without so much reliance on coercion, force, military means, respecting international law, and respecting the plurality and inclusiveness of the global decision-making bodies. As you know, Poland is a very staunch supporter of the Indian aspiration to become a permanent member of Security Council. We say it openly, and at every occasion we repeat it. But the issue is much broader than that. And here we can have quite a lot of space to discuss. Poland is quite, I would say, important member of the European Union. We are the sixth largest member in terms of our economic and political potential. We form the nucleus of the decision-making processes in the European Union. And we are ready to offer our services as a friendly gateway for India in this process, both in economic terms but also in political terms.
Also, since you referred to the European Union and the trade agreement that's had India and EU have had, how does that translate into something bigger than what we see right now? Right now the focus is on the trade part, but it does form the bedrock of a long-term agreement that the two can have. How would you look at that?
Concerning the free trade agreement, as I said in one of my public speeches, I believe that we should consider it to be the floor, not the ceiling, which means we should use it as the basis, because I believe the potential is much bigger than we have so far. Although, as you know, because I'm again on the record, personally I believe that we should do everything possible, us meaning the European Union, Brussels in particular, to ensure as speedy entry into force as possible. I'm in favor of fast-tracking this agreement, and I hope very much that by the end of the year, the latest, we will have it ready for initialing and signature. The other aspect, which I believe the current situation is very pertinent to talk about, is connectivity. We have to increase the importance of the IMEC, the corridor linking Europe with India, and all aspects of connectivity. I believe that this agreement, the strategic and defense partnership and related instruments should serve as a basis for building a strong partnership between the European Union and India. Something what one of your colleagues, journalists, called an Indo-European partnership. We are complementary. Our world philosophy is very similar, meaning respect for the rules, desire for peace, for peaceful means, and partnership, plurality, respect for the views of all, inclusiveness. The European Union is based on this. And India is a very strong advocate of this approach. I mean, Prime Minister Modi's philosophy, one world, is exactly the same. So I think we should use this opportunity, FTA, to build something more, this strategic partnership between Europe and India.
You spoke of connectivity and building on that. AI, IT, and the emerging world order also gives a lot of opportunities. How are these going to be fused into the Indo-Polish relationship to drive that further in the larger context of the Indo-EU trade agreement?
Well, my vision of our partnership is that it should be based on the modern aspects, new technologies, intellectual potential, and I believe both India and Poland are capable of, investing in it. So far, unfortunately, when you look, for instance, at the structure of our trade, this is old-fashioned, this is old industrial, approach. Because, my acquaintance with India, I am really amazed of the level of talent and intellectual capacity of the Indian people. And here, you mentioned AI, space, digital technologies, even creative industries. Here I can see a lot. Personally, I try now to encourage Polish creative industry companies to seek contact with India. There are already some joint projects,
sure,
but we can do more. We can do more. Yes, our partnership should be modern, should be based on the human capital, intellectual capital of both countries, and I will be doing my best in order to encourage Polish companies, Polish partners to come to India and discover the new India, this India full of energy, full of aspirations, and also encourage Indian companies to come to Poland, because for Indian companies, Poland is really a good gateway to Europe. We are, as a market, bearing in mind our GDP per capita, very attractive for your companies, but also the closeness to Germany, to France, to the Nordic countries, is another opportunity. Our advantage over other Western European countries is undisputable. We are cheap. Mm-hmm. Cost of living cheaper in Germany or in Sweden, Denmark. Labor costs are cheaper. Secondly, we are safe. Our cities are safe. Criminality is quite low in Poland. And the third, we are modern. Our highways are quite new. Our infrastructure for digital economy, including internet, cables and everything, we are better off than our Western partners, including Germany. These are obvious facts. And we are friendly. We are India friendly. The other day, I spoke at a meeting organized by our Commerce Chamber from Wrocław. It's a beautiful city in the south of Poland. And it's a city where you have a statue erected to Mr. Bachchan. Not the big B, but his father, the poet.
Oh my
the
God.
Poet.
Harivansh Rai Bachchan.
Yes. He has a statue. He has a square in Wrocław. Why? Because Poles love Indian poetry. So it's not only Tagore, who holds also a statue, but Tagore has statues in many cities around the world. But Bachchan Senior, can you imagine? We have one of the oldest Sanskrit faculties all over Europe. So this India friendliness in Poland is
Immense.
obvious. You talk about mobility. Do you know that Indian citizens constitute the third largest community in Poland after Ukrainians, Belarusians?
Wow, that is news.
And it's not that we are so affluent as America or Germany or UK. No, because we are India friendly. Yes, there are more citizens of India living in Poland than there are citizens of Germany or of Denmark or Sweden, our neighbors. Of course, a lot of them work in Indian companies in Poland. But the fact that there are so many of them is already telling you something, okay? So, dear Indians, come to Poland, feel there at home.
That's fantastic to hear. On that topic, I'll also talk a little bit about the mobility agreement between the two countries. How could that change in terms of building also the opportunities companies from and professionals from Poland as well as India?
Yes, and it's a sensitive topic. I'm not afraid to talk about it because I ask our Indian friends for their patience and their tolerance. We in Poland are now going through a difficult period. We had to make our migration rules more stringent, and that was because of the misuse and corruption scandals quite recently, a few years back. So it's not easy now to get a Polish visa, but I want to stress, my colleagues at the visa section at the consular department were able to cut the waiting time for slots considerably. It used to be even 2 years for labor visas,
Okay.
which practically meant it was impossible to get a Polish labor visa. And of course I receive a lot of criticism, and I take it, but I explain, you must understand what is happening in Poland, and because of the scandals, which have a very, I would say, involving very prominent people, we have to be very careful. We have 3,500 India students. The opportunities are much bigger, but we had to somehow make more stringent the requirements for getting a student visa. But we are going in the good direction, so be patient, be patient. We are waiting for you, although it will still take some time. Indian people in Poland, they are a very friendly community. They do not generate problems in terms of criminality and other things. So I think that concerning mobility and exchanges, we will be going in the right direction. We have now 7 days a week flight, direct flight, Poland and Delhi, Warsaw and Delhi. More than 150,000 people use this opportunity. So the role of the government and diplomats is to send the right signal. And my signal is Indian companies, Indian friends, business people, tourists are welcome in Poland, and we should use this opportunity.
Now switching to culture part, you referred to the poet and the poetry and the connection between the two countries. How can that be expanded? Because that touches the people in the two countries.
Well, yes, our connections, I mentioned about the love to Indian culture and poetry, literature in Poland, which is traditional. It goes back down to generations, even before the Second World War, the First World War. And I can give you some beautiful examples of the reflection of the Indian culture influence in our own literature. But also here, I have just come back from Jodhpur, where I could see probably the most precious contribution of Poland to the beauty and splendor of India. The murals and frescoes in Umayyad Palace, made by our painter, Polish painter, Stefan Noblin, who fled Poland after Poland was invaded by the Germans and the Russians in 1939. He found refuge in India. He found refuge in India. He lived here for 6-7 years, and he left a legacy, a very beautiful legacy. And what is important, it's a fusion. It's a European Polish Art Deco with Indian flavor, Indian patterns, Indian elements. It's quite unique, and it shows how this fusion, this Polish-Indian fusion, can produce completely new quality in arts and culture. You maybe do not know that in Poland there is a separate Bollywood TV channel, and most TV providers offer it 24 hours, Bollywood movies with Polish subtitles or voice-over, and it's popular. It's almost as popular as the Turkish soap operas. So, you know, an average Pole has a daily contact with the Bollywood culture. Isn't it amazing?
That's amazing. So, do you think of a Bollywood future where India and Poland could collaborate? Is that an opportunity?
Yes, you know, I watch Bollywood movies, so I know the movies which were shot in Poland, sometimes Poland pretending to be London or Paris. But my dream is, and you are touching a very, you know, tricky nerve, because my dream is a Bollywood romantic comedy, shot in Poland, Polish-Indian love story, and with me in a cameo appearance, or an extra appearance, or maybe a small role. I'm joking that Shah Rukh Khan and Amitabh Bachchan, they started shooting a new movie in Wrocław, in Poland, called King, but it's a gangster movie.
Okay.
So it's not my type of movie. I wish them good luck. I hope it will be a successful movie, but I want a romantic comedy.
So thank you so much. Wonderful speaking to the people of India, and wonderful with some of the anecdotes that you mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Indian friends. Come to Poland. Believe me, Poles are very friendly to you, and they want as close and productive contacts with India as possible.
Thank you.